Our guest today at MoneyShow is small cap expert Tom Bishop, editor of BI Research. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be on.
Could you give us an overview of your investment strategy?
Yeah, sure. BI Research is focused primarily on small cap to occasionally mid cap stocks, which because this is a segment of the market with younger, more rapidly growing companies where you're more likely to see a growth rate in the 20 to 30 or even 50% range. So all things being equal, you'll see greater stock appreciation in step with those growth rates, and also there's fewer analysts. While I have a few biotechs in our stable that haven't reached profitability yet, I favor stocks with PEs pretty close to their growth rates. I'm a GARP guy, growth at a reasonable price. And I also have a proprietary ranking system I use that considers things like this, and as well as upcoming quarterly and annual EPS growth, and relative strength, analysts, other financial strength, earnings surprises, and so forth.
Great. At the start of the year, you chose Anavex Life as your favorite stock for 2017. Since then, the shares have risen 43%. Could you explain the original rationale behind choosing this stock?
Yeah, Anavex is still a favorite. So it's a biopharmaceutical company dedicated to the development of novel drug candidates to treat central nervous system diseases. Its lead candidate is Anavex 273, or I call it A273, which has shown very promising results in Alzheimer's disease with phase 2A trials, and that afflicts 5.4 million people in the U.S. Alzheimer's is the only one of the top 10 fatal diseases for which the death rate has not only not gone down, but it's gone up, and therefore there are fears that this could even bankrupt Medicare down the road as America continues to age. Anyway, Alzheimer's can take 10 years or more to ultimately and unfortunately invariably cause death. So A273 has finished its 52-week phase 2A clinical trial with very encouraging results, and it's now preparing for its next, hopefully, pivotal, meaning it could lead to approval, pivotal clinical trial, which should get underway later this year. A273, by the way, is an orally available drug, which is good. And it's an agonist that activates sigma-1 and muscarinic receptors rather than attacking amyloid, which has been a futile cause for hundreds of clinical trials up to now. It's similar to immuno-oncology cancer drugs that you may have heard of, that essentially wake up the body's own natural defenses to recognize and go after cancer tumors. So A273 targets the sigma-1 receptor, which is in everybody, in fact, every animal as well, to wake it up and do its job of cleaning out misfolded proteins that cause the plaque buildup in the brain. So it's a further upstream approach than going after the amyloid plaque. And the leading drug for Alzheimer's is so old, donepezil, that it's actually gone generic, and it barely works, maybe for 6 months, and that on only half the people. And then the regular decline resumes. So there's essentially nothing that works in any meaningful way for Alzheimer's patients, and very importantly, A273 also has a clean safety profile, which some of these drugs are kind of toxic. In addition, A273 has also shown encouraging preclinical promise in the fight against Rett syndrome, which is also expected to enter clinical trials this year with orphan drug status and funding from the Rett Syndrome Foundation, as well as against Parkinson's disease, where yet another phase 2A clinical trial will get underway this year. And that's under the sponsorship and funding of the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And the list goes on. It also shown promising preclinical results for epilepsy, infantile spasm, MS. Actually, in MS, Biogen has signed an agreement with the company to do preclinical testing for use on MS. But the fact that the drug is showing promise for so many central nervous system diseases and in a dose-dependent way says to me that the company may well be onto something big. And if so, this could be a multi-billion-dollar drug if it just works on Alzheimer's in just the U.S., and it could be like multi-billion, multi-tens of billions if it works on several of these diseases worldwide.
Could you share an overview of development at Anavex Life at the start of the year?
Okay, this year the company has continued to analyze the data from the Phase 2A Alzheimer's trial and made some presentations not only at scientific medical conferences but at a few investor conferences as well. And as the word gets out, the stock price has been on the rise. Without getting too technical, test results from the 25 patients that completed the one-year non-placebo controlled trial remained near baseline overall, even improving in some cases, while the normal course of Alzheimer's is steady decline. For example, scores for the mini mental state exam and the activities of daily living test in both cases showed benefit of several points versus the normal decline. And for 6 patients, the MMSE score actually improved substantially, which is almost unheard of. Whereas nothing currently works beyond 6 months, and this data is from 12 months. Just one interesting tidbit from the trial, 8 of the 25 patients reported insomnia. And imagine caring for an Alzheimer's patient with insomnia. But amazingly, by the end of the trial, none of them reported insomnia any longer. So, that's a market for A273 right there, even if it does nothing else for Alzheimer's patients. But of course, I believe it does a lot more than that. By the way, these patients have all requested to continue on A273 for another 2 years, which tells you something right there. But, sometimes you get a better picture by pulling your head out of the data and just hearing the impact of some of the patients in the A273 trial. One woman, for example, who could no longer play the piano is able to play again. Another could no longer paint and is painting again, even planning an art show. Another's back on the golf course. A fourth was able to give a very lucid, even humorous interview on TV. And relatives can't believe the improvement, but this is my favorite quote, if I can. It's from a newspaper article about a woman who had lost the ability to paint. And her caregiver recalls her going downhill fast as she stopped painting and had difficulty around the home, with everyday chores. So let me quote here. It has improved her out of all sight. She is laughing and bubbly. She has absolutely blossomed since she's been on these tablets. Nobody can believe the difference in Valerie before the trial and now. It's a different person. So, end the quote, and I'll leave it at that.
Wow. Given the stock's strong performance so far this year, do you still recommend it as a buy?
Yes, I do. And let me point out that the above study was exploratory as to dosage, so the data and results I've discussed is not even for the optimal dose, whereas the upcoming placebo-controlled double-blind trial will get going later this year. Will administer the optimal dose of A273 to all patients for the duration of the study. So it's a very exciting time for the company and its investors and me. and then don't forget it has the trials for Rett syndrome and Parkinson's also set to get underway this year. So a lot of irons in the fire and more back in preclinical. And ultimately, if all goes well, I expect this story will end with a major pharmaceutical company just acquiring Anavex.
This is Zach Levine with MoneyShow, and we've been speaking with small cap expert Tom Bishop, editor of BI Research. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.